Talk about maybe some of the things specifically that they have to work on, especially the guys we talked today. Can you maybe share some of the observations, what you want with Al, Patchen, the guys that we got a chance to talk to today that you're seeing?
Al, I think the big thing with him is going to be just consistency, and that comes with all young players. Hadn't played a lot of football here, just got to be more consistent in his technique, and I think he knows what to do now, fine tune on how to do it. Patchen is a guy that is really giving us a lot of production early on, doing a lot of good things. He just, every single day we got to come out here and compete, and that's one thing that we've been harping on. But overall, we got a ways to go, but I think those two guys are both doing some good things.
Finley and Carter, Finley told us he's seen some snaps at safety. Is part of that just because maybe guys being out, or is it you guys seriously thinking about maybe putting him at safety?
I think a little bit of both. I think it kind of came to fruition with a couple guys banged up and in our third down package, putting him at safety, and he's played that position before, but he's doing some good things back there. And like I say, every time you get an opportunity, make the most of it. So we'll see what comes of it. He's doing a nice job back there, and I think he's been challenged a little bit mentally. Hadn't played that position in a couple of years, so we'll see what comes of it. But right now, it's a little bit of both to answer your question.
Does that give you some flexibility with Gervin and Amari to possibly come
for
down
sure
and play like a corner
in the
role?
box, or even in the box a little bit, and that's kind of what we've been doing on third down a little bit. Amari's such a good dime, he's such a good blitzer, good feel for underneath coverage, so that's kind of how it's evolved.
Like both Scott and Al are legacy players. Their dads were well known here. Does that mean anything to you? I mean, what extra does that add? To a kid?
I think obviously when a kid grows up a legacy, they grow up with a great deal of pride in this university before they ever step on campus. So I think that probably has more to do with them than me. I think we're production based, so I don't care if your dad went here to North Dakota State and Western Michigan. It doesn't matter. It's how do they produce, and but I think it's pretty cool. Obviously, growing up and bleeding orange and green, I think that is added, probably motivation for them.
Does it ever become an instance where maybe they put too much pressure on themselves and maybe they push?
Yeah, I would think so, and I would think everybody, you want to outdo your dad. That's kind of how you grow up in most cases. So that's something though that we talk about. Don't let that you can't control that. Control what you can control, and I think if you put that added pressure on yourself, you're just doing yourself a disservice.
We're 5 practices in. Has anybody caught your eye that's maybe coming in? You're like, okay, I know what this guy is, and maybe he's surpassed that or opened your eyes up even more.
Probably the biggest pleasant surprise early on has been John Ford. I think he's, hadn't played a ton of football around here, didn't know much about him, but if he puts it together and is consistent every day, he can be as good as he wants to be. He's a load inside, he's powerful, he's got length, but from what I'd seen last year to this year, he's been a really pleasant surprise.
What's the difference maybe in him from film to now that you?
I think he's coming off the ball. I think he's coming off the ball with a sense of urgency, and that's what our defense is predicated on, is getting upfield and creating knockback. And when he does that, he's hard to block, and I think he's realizing that. So I think that's been the biggest difference, is his his ball get off.
It's important, obviously, with Gerald Willis and some of the guys that left here to have.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're gonna need him to step up. We're gonna need, Nesta's doing. All of them are really doing some good things. I just hadn't seen much of Ford on film last year, and he's really doing a nice job inside for us.
I was going to kind of ask you about, you mentioned Nesta, just what have been your thoughts on how he started the spring and how he's been able to adjust to a bigger role and stepping up?
I think he's definitely becoming more coachable, and I think he's still, which a lot of young guys are, but he's still fine-tuning his technique. His want-to is there. He's a load inside. He's got great ball get-off. Great explosive. He's a natural talent. Low center of gravity. He's everything that you want, in a defensive tackle. We got to work on some hand placement things, but he's doing some really good things, and I think he's trying to do exactly what we're asking him to do. So I'm happy with where he's at.
What about his competitiveness level?
He seems to have got it. That's what I mean when I say coachable. Sometimes we're trying to coach him like, you can't come out here and fight every single snap, and all that does is hurt us on Saturdays. So being coachable, that's one of the main things I mean when I say that.
Like, how's Zach McLeod doing?
He's not able to do any contacts. He's doing some individual. He's he's learning some insight. You know, he played a lot of outside linebacker. I think we need more depth in the inside linebacker room. So he's sitting in meetings and learning a lot, but he's not able to be out here with his wrist and doing contact.
Are you guys hopeful that he at some point this spring, or does it look like he'll not?
Yeah, I think we're going to be patient with it, but yeah, you're always hopeful. And I don't know the timetable. That'd be, you know, a question for the doctors. But you know, obviously we're hopeful he can get out here and get some reps. But he's real smart, real studious kid. So, and he's played a lot of ball. So learning a new position, reps will obviously help. But we're not going to rush him into anything as well.
And meetings-wise, he's been able to do. He's been active at all those.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
So as you move towards scrimmages, where would you like to see the defense get better before you go out and test it in that arena, so to speak?
Well, I think the first thing is effort on a consistent basis. You know, like I said last time we spoke, we had a lot of really good players, you know, walk off of this defense, and I think, you know, some guys think they're just next in line, and that's not the case. You know, there's a great deal of pride in the defense at the University of Miami, and some guys need to step up and have a more consistent effort on a play-to-play basis. And then the second thing is just communication. I think we got to get better communicating pre-snap and post-snap as a defense, and that comes with guys working together and guys being more confident in the defense, more confident in their job. So those things will come, but we don't have all day to wait either, so we got to kind of get those things rolling.